Check, check, check. Okay, so we are live. Just wanted to, had a long nap this afternoon, so I'm just kind of awake on a Saturday night. Wanted to dig around some 2024 playoff stats. Just kind of looking ahead to Mavs Celtics. So I'm going to have an interesting video that I'm going to prepare in the next couple days that kind of just looks at some of the best lineups that the Celtics and the Mavs have. But tonight I just kind of wanted to gather a little bit of data. All right, so here we're looking at 23-24 playoffs. This is just per game, nothing too fancy here. We see that, let's see who's got the best three-point percentage. So look at the 5th and 6th teams of the Celtics. So really close there between the Mavs. That's good. That's encouraging. You know, for all the talk of the Celtics being this unbelievable dominating three-point shooting team, the Mavs actually have a slight, I would call it a push, but a very slight percentage point edge. The Celtics love to shoot threes. I was digging around this a little bit earlier. One thing I noticed, one of the very few places where the Mavs have a clear advantage is on free throw attempts. So Mavs and Celtics, this playoffs so far, 23-24 playoffs, are basically a push. It's not that the Celtics have been just absolutely dropping bombs from every corner, unstoppable shooting. Their three-point shooting is very close, and their field goal shooting, look at that. Field goal shooting is actually less than a percentage point off too. So I would say the shooting so far, now that's not to, as much as, previous data points to what will happen in the future, the shooting of these two teams is very close in the playoffs as far as from the field. Now, if you notice free throw percentage, it's going to be a big difference here. Yeah, the Celtics haven't been, unbelievable, but they are at 80%, 79.7%. And I can't scroll this right now because the way I set up this page because I'm stupid. But the Mavs are the very bottom. The Mavs are the 16th of all 16 teams who are in the playoffs. And they're shooting. So the Celtics are shooting at just under 80%. So you can call that 80, which is really nice. A team shooting 80% is really nice. And that's only good for 8th best team in the playoffs. But the Mavs are the very bottom, and they're shooting like 72%, something like that. So really, really lame there. Not a good free throw shooting team are the Mavs. Let's check out just rebounds per game, right? I don't know if this is going to show up for you guys here. Let's see here. I can slide this over. There's rebounds. Get it right there. There's rebounds per game right there. And Pelicans, really good rebounding team. Magic, expected to be a really good team. There's the Celtics right there. Number 3 best rebounding team. And the Mavs right there, right behind them. So you would think that the Mavs' size would give them a significant advantage as a rebounding team. But the Celtics do it as a team, right? They don't have like one Joel Embiid, or they don't have, the lineup that we have with like, Gafford and Lively to go out there and gobble up rebounds. But they do it as a team. Horford gets rebounds. They're all tall guys. They don't run a lot of short guys. I guess Drew is their shortest of their main crew, right? But they rebound. They rebound in this playoffs better than the Mavs, but very marginally. I mean, that's basically a push. That's just slightly over half a rebound a game better, so I call that a push, right? So through these playoffs, they've been shooting about the same, rebounding about the same. Let's check out assists. Assists are 23.5 a game to 22.5 a game. So, an assist better a game. When you hear people talk about the Celtics not having any dynamic playmakers, that's true. They don't. They lack a dynamic playmaker. Obviously, almost everyone lacks a dynamic playmaker compared to Luka. There's really only a couple guys in the league that you would say are in his even close to a stratosphere. But as a team, they are a good passing team. All right? So there is that. Let's look at turnovers. Turnovers, the Celtics are 11.5 a game, and the Mavs. Am I going to be able to see this? Did I screw that up? Yeah, I think I did. All right, I can't see the Mavs. Oh, sorry. So the Celtics are at 11.5 turnovers a game, and the Mavs turnovers have actually gone up a little bit throughout the playoffs as compared to the regular season. We were not that great. Not that great. You just want to look at, let's be dumb and just look at points, right? Points per game. The Celtics are the second highest scoring team in these playoffs at 111.4 a game, and the Mavs are 108. So 3 points, a little more than 3 points per game less. So that's extremely negligible, especially when you consider the level of competition that the Celtics have faced compared to what the Mavs have faced. The Mavs have faced a much stiffer competition. So I'm encouraged by all of these stats. What I see here is, no clear divide, right? There's not like, oh man, look at this. So look at this here, though. Free throws attempted a game, Mavs 23.8 to the Celtics 20.1. Now that shouldn't be shocking because they are a perimeter-focused team. They don't attack the cup like we do. They haven't been in as many intentional fouling situations with our bigs because they are good free throw shooters, but they don't attack the cup to the same ferocity that we do. So that's almost, if you round up, that's almost 4 free throw attempts more a game for the Mavs. Now, we need those extra ones because we stink. We stink at shooting free throws. Yes, we do. All right. So let's look at offensive rating. Not surprisingly, the teams with the best offensive rating are the teams that were also scoring the most points. A little surprising to see the Knicks up there with as limited as they were and as hampered as they were. But the Celtics are right there with a 119 and a half, 119.6 offensive rating. That's great. And the Mavs are number 6 with 115. So with 115 is nice. It's not bad offense, right? But it's a clear advantage that the Celtics offense has been more efficient and a higher producing offense. This is where they will really stand out, though. Check this out. The Celtics have the third best in all of the playoffs defensive rating. Now notice, number 2 there, the Oklahoma City Thunder, who we took out in 6 games. So, worth pointing out, right? But the third best defensive rating in these playoffs is the Celtics at a 108.7. That's really nice. That would have been one of the very best, if not the best, defenses in all of the regular season. I think that's around where the Timberwolves hovered all season, was about a 108 defensive rating, somewhere around 108, if memory serves. So they have a really nice defensive rating, 108.7. The Mavs, in these playoffs, our defensive rating has gone, unfortunately, up several points, 111.1. Now, we have been playing really good competition, I would say. We've been playing really, really good teams, and so it makes sense that they would put up more points on you. But for all of our defensive reputation, and I think that's all deserved, it's all earned, it's interesting to see that the Celtics have been putting up a much better defensive rating than the Mavs by 3 points basically, or better than 2.5 points defensive rating. So their defense has clearly been better. Also want to mention, basically everyone they've played in this playoff run for the Celtics is their best players have been hurt. The teams have been unbelievably banged up. All of the talk you hear online of the Celtics having a pretty having a pretty easy stretch of it is accurate. They have had an unbelievably easy stretch. Net rating is one of the places where, they just absolutely crush. They are number 1 in these playoffs in net rating at almost 11 points a game. Now, once again, context. When you are facing mostly battered opponents, you should beat them pretty handily. You should significantly beat them. But to their credit, they have been. Not a lot of close games. They have been punishing their opponent. Now, like I said, their opponents have been lacking the scoring punch needed to really hold up with them, right? Now, the Pacers offered them some close games, and the Pacers choked away a couple, wins that just should have been in the bag. But they choked, and the Celtics held on. So you can't expect the Celtics to not be ready for the big moments. And you certainly shouldn't expect the Celtics to choke away opportunities. They are a good team, a darn good team. Good defensively and good offensively. So best net rating, almost 11. That's unbelievable. In the whole playoffs. Consider their opponents, consider all the injuries that they faced, that their opponents have had. But that's still really impressive. It shouldn't be hand-waved. It shouldn't be like, no. And it's pretty nice. The Mavs, you would think they're one of the 2 remaining teams. They have a 4.1 net rating. So the Mavs have been in a lot of close games. That's what that says. The Mavs have been winning a whole lot, but they've been winning a whole lot of close games, right? You notice here that the Mavs have a 115 to 111. That's why it's the 4.1. So the Mavs have been winning clutch games. We're the best clutch team in all the playoffs, of course. And that's what we've said all along, is that basketball comes down to the final 5 minutes, right? Very often, basketball games are decided in the final 5 to 3 minutes, and that's clutch games, right? That's when the game is at the clutch time. And we have the two players that you want in clutch time. When it's time to hit big buckets, when the defenses tighten up, when they're not giving the easy whistles, when it's time to go create a shot and go get a bucket, the Mavs have the two best guys in the finals at that, right? Luka and Kyrie are going to be better than anything that the Celtics have when it's time to just go create a bucket. When it's clutch time, the Mavs have the two best on the floor. The best in the world, and Luka Doncic. And I don't know where Kyrie ranks, so we'd have to come up with a list sometime. But like, Kyrie is very high up there. When it's time to go get a quality shot, I mean, Kyrie's somewhere in the upper tier, right? Like, he's unbelievable. I would put Luka at number one. Better than Jokic, better than, obviously better than Ant, better than even Shea. Luka's number one. But Kyrie's somewhere in there. And definitely better than Tatum and Brown and, Drew and White and all that. So the net rating there is significant, but it's contextualized. You have to remember that the Celtics have been playing battered opponents. It's not their fault. All you're responsible to do is to beat the team in front of you, right? But they've been doing that in a big way, to the tune of almost 11 plus. That's pretty impressive, right? That's pretty impressive. All right, so the net rating there is pretty close. And so kind of what we're seeing here, I don't want to give away too much of what I've been looking at in regards to the 5-man lineups. But what we're going to see is the Mavs starting 5, so that's Luka, Kyrie, D. Jones, PJ, and Gafford, have been basically a push. They play huge minutes, but they've been basically playing even basketball, maybe just slightly positive basketball. And over these playoffs, what we've seen is that there's different lineups that the Mavs have that give them the real advantage in these playoffs. The Celtics have some really interesting 5-man lineups. They have some really productive 5-man lineups, and they're going to be leaning heavily on those. So this was just a super quick little stream where I wanted to just point out the margins between the Celtics and the Mavericks are very close. Very close. The Celtics have clearly had much easier games, and they put the boot on the throat. They won the games that they needed to win, right? By a wide margin there, by almost 11. That's incredible. The Mavs, though, and I've been saying this in other videos, the Mavs have been in this playoff stretch incredibly battle tested. They are battle proven. They've been playing a lot of close games, like what I think we should probably expect in these finals games. Are games that come down to the wire. Now, can you have some shooting variance games where the Celtics just go scorching hot from 3? Yeah, they definitely can do that, man. The last time the Mavs and Celtics played, it was before the Mavs made the lineup changes, so it was really before the Mavs discovered their new defensive identity and just kind of became who they are now. The Celtics blew them out, I think, by like 27, 28 points. And Luka was awesome that game, too. Kyrie was very poor. But Luka was awesome. And they still won by like 28 points because they shot 50% from 3 and just went bombs away, just went bonkers. So that could happen. You could have a game like that in this series where they just go nuts. What you hope is that they don't have more than... What you hope as a Mavs fan, they don't have any games like that, right? But what you hope is that if they have one, it's just one. Because if they get like that, the Mavs defense probably really isn't designed to survive a game like that. The Mavs defense is kind of predicated around funneling you into the middle, into taking very hard mid-range shots or paint shots, like, running you off the 3-point line. But if you're a pass away and the guy's catching and shooting and beats the closeout and just hitting those shots, the Mavs, at least so far in this playoff run, have been designed to say, hey, if you want to let your third and fourth guys hit corner threes, we're going to close out on you. We're gonna crash. But if you hit that shot, we tip our cap. And we say, well, your fourth best guy beat us. The problem is that for the Celtics, their third, fourth, fifth guys all shoot threes. I would love to see KP. I would just, you know what I would love? I would love to see the Mavs put this finals on the shoulders of Kristaps Porzingis. I would love that so much. I don't mean that in a petty way. I just mean it in the sense that I've never believed in the guy. I've never thought he was that great of a shooter. All of the advanced stats crew is like, oh, his impact being a 7'2", 7'3" guy who shoots from range and stretches the floor, and he does offer nice rim protection when he's engaged and when he's healthy. But he's not like some great shooter. Like compared to other great shooters, he's not a great shooter. Compared to most guys who are 7'3", yeah, right. That's a much smaller pool to pull from, right? Sure, yeah, he's a better 3-point shooter than most 7'3" guys, right? Yeah, sure. But just in a vacuum, if you say, hey, we're gonna let KP shoot a lot of shots, then that dude is fragile, I think. And I don't think he'll come through. And so if the Mavs had something like that as a strategy of, hey, do we think KP can actually beat us in the finals? Do we think he'll man up? Do we think he's made of the kind of stuff that could, deliver in the biggest games consistently? I just, as someone who watched him play every minute of his time in the Mavericks, I just kind of don't think he has that in him. Now, is this KP a better version of the Mavericks KP? Yeah, sure. I think he probably is. Is this KP going to be battling rust? Is KP still a pretty streaky shooter? Yes, he is. So that would kind of be one of my starting points, is how do we force KP into a lot of looks? How do we make him uncomfortable enough to where he's not just having wide open looks, but how do we have the end of the play ending with the ball in KP's hand, either number one, trying to make a decision or take a shot? Because I don't believe in that guy. Now, as your third, fourth best player, is that a nice luxury? Yeah, sure. The Mavs were trying to make him the second best player, which he certainly is not. But I am just not a believer in that guy. I remember when we traded for him and everyone was freaking out. Everyone was so excited. I don't know if you were a Mavs fan at the time, but man, Mavs fans were so excited when we got KP. And I just remember like that day or the very next day going, are you sure he's a good shooter? Because he's like a 34% three-point shooter, like throughout his career. Like, he's statistically below average. I know he's tall, and it's cool to see a tall guy shoot, right? As a lifelong fan of number 41, I like seeing big guys shoot. But KP ain't that, man. He ain't Dirk. Dirk's money. Dirk's pure. So, is he trash? I don't know if he's trash. What's up, Bella? I don't know if he's trash, but yeah, I just would put it on his shoulders, you know? I'd just be like, hey, KP, you want to shoot 20 times a game? And you watch the Celtics not want him to do that. But I would just be like, hey, listen, if you want to stand out there, tall guy, and bang away threes from 3 foot behind the 3-point line, it's not that we're just going to leave you wide open. We'll send a man your way. But listen, we all know this. KP is not going to consistently beat a closeout, is he? Haven't we seen that? I doubt in the last 3 years his ball handling has become insanely better. He's still a little lumbering. He's not some, fluid out there athlete. So like out from the 3-point line, he's not going to be a guy who's going to take 2 dribbles and finish at the rim very often. Yeah, the unicorn with the broken horn, right? Yeah. If ever there was a cool nickname that haunted a guy, yeah, that the unicorn has haunted KP, right? Because all the potential is there to deserve that nickname, but I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. I definitely don't think he's worthy of such a cool nickname. Yeah, so that would kind of be my strat. Is I would like to see the Mavs say, "Hey, KP, you want to shoot a bunch of shots? Cool. Hey, Al Horford, you want to shoot a bunch of shots? Cool." And I would love to get. I mean, I think Al Horford's probably too smart. I think we can probably get KP to take a lot of shots. I think Al Horford knows who he is. You know, I think Al Horford is very comfortable knowing, hey, I am not a guy you want taking a lot of shots. If Al Horford is going to beat us shooting threes, I mean, dang. Okay. You know, because White shooting threes, yeah, I don't like that. Tatum shooting great looks from three, I really don't love that either. I don't want to get that guy going. He's a rhythm guy. I don't want to get him going. Brown shooting wide open standstill threes. Now make him move, make him dribble. I'm more comfortable with that. But I don't want him shooting just wide open threes. But KP, Horford, I mean, I can live with it. I can live with it. Of course, I would rather get them both shooting on the move. I'd rather get them shooting mid-range shots after taking a couple dribbles, after, beating a closeout or something like that. But I don't know. KP isn't guarding anyone on this team. Lively's going to eat him alive. Here's the thing. There's no one who's a bigger Derek Lively fan than me. I think wherever everyone else is, like you can be tied with me, but like I love that kid. As far as people who don't know him personally and just know him online, I love that dude. I don't know. Eat him alive, I think, is probably asking a lot of the kid. On the occasions where we give him the ball and go get your shot, unless it's like in the short roll where he takes one dribble and gets the layup, I'm totally comfortable with him taking it. I would love for him to take that more often. But on the occasions where it's like, hey, go, pound the ball 3 times and put up a look, I think they would be happy with D-Live doing that instead of catching lobs and making passes out of the short roll. But I think D-Live down in the post will be a clear answer for KP. It'd be really interesting to see how often D-Live is the man covering KP out at the 3-point line. TGK and I were talking the other day on his stream, and he says he would put Luka on KP. And I like that. I love that idea. I think it goes easy on Luka. It lets him almost rest on defense. But I like it. I think it's an interesting idea. Put Lively or Gafford somewhere, whoever's closer to the paint. I mean, they're obviously playing that 5 out, but let them roam a little bit. That'd be interesting to see. That'd be interesting. I wouldn't be shocked if the Mavs are daring the support players of the Celtics to beat us. That's the strat that they've gone with recently, right? Hey, we're gonna take out your best players. We're gonna lock in on your superstars. They're gonna get their points, but we're gonna dare you to hit a bunch of corner threes. So we'll see. Horford's going to be neutralized like Gobert. Well, first off, yeah, Horford is awesome, but he's nothing defensively like Gobert. Something I haven't heard anyone say, maybe it's been said and I just missed it. I keep wanting to say it in videos and on streams, and I just forget or trail away, or the conversation goes a different way if I'm on someone else's stream. But like, man, the Mavs did not want to challenge Gobert in the paint, did they? When they scored in the paint is because they had pulled Gobert out. How many times did we see Luka Doncic, who, by the way, was unbelievable in the Western Conference Finals, both statistically and, eye test wise? But how often did we see Luka not want to challenge Gobert on a floater? Like, I felt like it was 3 times a game at least. 2 to 4 times a game where I'm going like, oh, Luka's got this. Luka loves to score over Gobert, but it was almost like there was the spidey sense in Luka going like, not this shot. This is the shot he'll block, or this is the shot that he will make me adjust so far that I won't be able to make. Like, and Horford is not going to do that. Period. Horford's what, like 6'10"? No, Horford has great length, but he's not 8'2" or whatever the freakish wingspan of Gobert is. I know it's better than 8 feet, right? But anyways, like that was a comment that I didn't see any Mavs fans really pointing out that I noticed. And I was like, man, we are not wanting to challenge Gobert on the floater. And I mean, I think that's probably what he's best at, is covering the ground in the paint. And so, yeah, they don't have anything like that. KP can be a good rim protector when he's healthy. Is he healthy? When he's healthy. But he's still nothing like Gobert. Gobert, you gotta give it to the guy. For as bad as he is on the perimeter and as annoying as he is as a human being, That dude is an unbelievable paint defender. Just unbelievable. You like the idea of Luka on KP. I just meant Lively and Gafford are going to rip him apart. Oh yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. Yeah, KP's. I mean, if you can get KP on a pick and roll, if you can get him in motion, and then lob over him. Now he's super long, right? He really is. But yeah, I think Luka would love. I think Luka would love to destroy his former teammate in a bunch of pick and roll actions. And I think, honestly, I could be proven wrong. I don't think I will be, but I think what we will see is KP is, if they get him in action, is going to have a hard time handling the pick and rolls with Lively and Gafford. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I like that a lot. Yeah. Yeah, the Celtics have nothing in regards to a paint presence like Gobert at all. At all. Nothing like that at all. The Mavs out-block them. Yeah, by a wide margin. I didn't look that up earlier, or I didn't look that up in the video, but I looked it up earlier today. I was like, yeah, the Mavs clearly have the blocks advantage, and the Celtics, I think, get blocked the least. This is a really telling stat. Let me see if I can pull this up. The Mavs. Let me see here. Let me see if I can make this traditional. We gotta work. All right, so blocks against. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can move it. Blocks against. The Celtics are blocked the least of all teams, 2.2. And the Mavericks are blocked the sixth least at 4.8. So we get blocked, almost 5 times a game. But the Celtics get blocked 2.2. And you go, oh, another category where the Celtics are clearly beating the Mavericks. Oh, wait. I read that stat and I go, that means they're not attacking the cup. That means, number one, they haven't been playing enough guys who are great shot blockers. Now Miles Turner with the Pacers is a really good shot blocker. But what it really means is that the Celtics don't pressure the paint. If they're only getting blocked 2 times a game, and the Mavs are getting blocked almost 5 times a game, think about the Mavs. The Mavs are in the paint constantly. Gafford, Lively, Luka, Kyrie, D. Jones. Those guys live in the paint, or they do a lot of their work in the paint. And the Celtics are taking farther out shots. And so, I look at a stat like that and go oh, the Celtics don't attack. They're out of the paint, right? Which, of course, means, are the Mavs going to be able to have their way? Because they want to force people. They want to funnel people into Lively and Gafford. They want to funnel and just make the whole play sticky, right? We don't want you to take the shot you want. We want you to have to take a couple dribbles, get a little bit off balance, and take a shot that's at the very least going to be challenged by a very tall man, or has you in motion, has you in movement, right? And so, if we push the Celtics out to the perimeter, the perimeter's where they want to be. The perimeter's where they're going to start out with that 5 out. Yeah, you like our chances. Yeah, they don't attack the cup, which I think is really interesting. I think that's really good. Like I said, I want to see KB. I want to see KP beat us. That's what I would be. If I was old J Kidd, I'd be like, I don't think he can do it. Let's see. That's gonna be where I would start. You don't want to give him just wide open. That's stupid. That's not a real NBA strategy. But I would want the ball ending up in his hands, making decisions, shooting or playmaking. That's what I would want, because I don't think he can do it. I don't think he can. I think if we put the ball in KP's hands to either shoot or pass, we win this series and pretty easily. I really do. Because we know who the ball is going to be in our hands. It's going to be in Luka and Kyrie's hands to make all the decisions. And I trust those 2 guys. I trust Luka. I trust him. I don't think there will ever be a player that I trust the ball in their hands as much as Dirk. But Luka is climbing that ladder, and I love the ball in his hands. And then, of course, in the closing seconds of a game where you're up a point or 2, Kyrie Irving, So, all right, hella good. Good to talk to you, man. I'm going to call it a night. Let's see here. What do I do? All right. See you next time, guys.